Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in the last episode we started working on my new car, which we gonna call the boost creep for now, or just creep for short. And since the last video I've fixed quite a few issues. The most important one, I finally found why the car wasn't had no power at all. And well, it was obvious it was in limp mode, but I couldn't figure out why it was in limp mode. And yeah, it does have an OBD reader, and in theory I should have been able just to read the code from the software, but as it turned out I couldn't. Well, the OBD reader read that there was no codes, which wasn't true because I had the engine light on the dash. And then I went on googling and I thought there were gonna be like lots of I don't know, stuff on this matter, but unfortunately you can find a lot of nothing, until I found one video where a guy was talking about the same issue. He couldn't read the codes with an OBD reader, and if you have a Lexus, you also have this diagnostic port, and if you ever had an MX-5 you know what it is. Basically you need to jump two pins, this one, and it's called, well, I'm gonna overlay the connectors, the picture, and like what they called, but it's very easy. And using the old school method of counting the number of flashes on your dash, well, the engine management light flashes, you can figure out what's wrong with your car. And in my case it was saying that there was something wrong with the throttle position sensor. Well, there are a couple of them, but basically the engine or the ECU didn't know what's going on with that. And again I went on the forums and started reading, and people were saying like the ECU fried or something else. So I thought, change an ECU, well, it's not difficult mechanically, just like a bunch of bolts and some anti-tampering stuff, but yeah, it's relatively easy. The other thing is that you need to reprogram your key fob in order to kind of make the car run again. Obvious, right, isn't it? But I thought, well, there actually was one reply saying you need to check your fuse box and see if all the fuses are fine. And guess what? Yeah, mine wasn't. The fuse that goes onto basically the throttle body thing was fried, and simply because it was a wrong fuse. It was 10 amp instead of 20 amp, so it was gone. The same, actually, I just decided to check all the fuses, and the radio fuse was also blown because, yes, you're right, it was a 10 amp where like it should have been 20 amp. I replaced them, and believe it or not, it just worked. The car ran fine, it responded to the throttle fine, and you can just see it now. Yep, so that's I would say it's a victory, but it's a small one. There's still a lot of issues with the car that we're gonna address in this episode, and if you can have a closer look you can see that I've been busy and everything is in bits and pieces, because when I well, I was happy, so I took the car for a quick drive around the block, and I've noticed that the engine management light was flashing again. The flashing engine management light always, well, not always, but quite often it means misfire, and you could tell, like on this engine, you could tell that it was misfiring. So I went back home, plugged the OBD reader in, and I could read that it was misfiring in cylinder 1, 2 and 4. So because the car came with a bunch of parts in the boot. I decided, and I actually found some spare coils. I just decided to change them, and again, everything worked, at least for now. The other thing that I found in the boot was a bunch of injectors. In the ad, it was said that the car had 1ZZ injectors. Basically, they're a little bit more juicier. The turbo kit should just be run like the fuel starvation shouldn't be an issue. Again, they're not. I think they're like 280 or 270 cc, whereas stock ones are 260 or 240. It's not a big difference, but it's better than nothing. And I thought, well, that's cool, until I found that the injectors that I had in the boot were in fact 1ZZ. So yes, the car came with the upgraded injectors, but they were not on the engine. So that's what I'm doing now. And this is the fuel rail. Actually, it's not too hard to take it out. There are just 3 bolts that hold it in place, but in order to get to the middle one, you need to undo the throttle body. Again, not too difficult, for, well, 2 nuts and 2 bolts, and it just comes out. So the green ones are the 1ZZ injectors, and the pink one, or I don't know, that's one faded color. You can call it purple, faded purple, or baby pink, I don't know. This is the stock injector, and I'm gonna share the part number so you could easily tell which is which. So yeah, the thing is, I thought I had all 6 injectors, and I did, except the last one was broken. I've never seen anything like that, but it just pulled itself up. So yeah, so I went on eBay and ordered some replacement. So it's where did I put the injector? Overnight Japan parcel, no, but yeah, it came really quickly. I think I ordered just not yesterday, but like 2 days ago, and it arrived quicker than I expected. So today we're gonna put it all back and hopefully it starts. There's still one issue though. The 1ZZ injectors, they came with this little kind of cap on them, and some of them are missing that cap, and the original 1G injectors, they don't have this plastic thing on them, so I cannot just replace them. I hope that they won't leak. If they do, we'll have to revert it back to the stock injectors for now, which again, it's not the end of the world, but ideally I'd rather not do it, simply because I got tired of it. Also, an interesting fact, the injectors that, well, the type of the injectors that run on these Toyotas is exactly the same as an RX-8. I think they're 440 cc, so they're much beefier than even these ones. And guess what? I've got 4 spare RX-8 injectors. I just need to buy 2 more, but I'm not gonna do it now, simply because there is no return line, and there is no point to put bigger injectors, because the fuel pressure in the rail won't be enough to keep up with the injectors, so there's literally no point of installing them now. But I'm gonna do it in the future once I run the return line, fuel return line, and yeah, this is where the beefier injectors will come in, and I'll show you how to remove the fuel rail again, which again, it's not rocket science, but it's a little bit fiddly. Also, I went on, it was my birthday recently, so happy birthday to me. I bought a set of HSD coilovers, and they came, again, thanks for Driftworks, they came really quickly. And hopefully we can address another issue with this car. That's what we're gonna fix today. Well, besides other... Well, I just bit my tongue. That's what we're gonna fix today, besides other small things like this. I don't think it's holding anything. I mean, it kind of does, surprisingly, but these chippily clips, no. And yeah, I'd rather replace it. Also, the hose itself, even though I haven't bought the new ones, it just doesn't look nice. Also, the radiator is full of, well, you can see for yourself. Yep. But that's a story for another video. Hopefully today I will be able to swap the coilovers and put the injectors back in, and fingers crossed nothing's leaking. I mean, fuel. Yeah, let's do it. Check this out. I don't think this is a legitimate fix. I don't want to disconnect the throttle body, but clearly it needs some kind of a gasket. I could just do the same thing. Don't think it's gonna affect anything. I just need to find the gasket maker. Yeah, I really didn't want to do it. So the battery died yesterday, and I didn't film the actual installation of the front coilovers, but as you can see, well, that's a little bit low. So we'll have to fix this issue, because there's literally no room, and this little well, what left of the front wing is gonna rub through the tire. Okay, I also put together the well, everything there was to put together, and we're gonna give it a quick start and see if it's leaking or not. I hope that it's not, but first I think we need to raise the coilovers and swap the rear as well, because the rear is still the god-awful max speeding rod. The rear, I think I need to, well, it's kind of windy today, I need to take all of this out and remove this trim in order to get to the top nuts that holding the coilover, and yeah, that's the plan. The car was sat in the garage for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and still some moisture left. I don't know where it's coming from. Well, it's not going anywhere, so that's the finest repair. There's still some, well, I'm not sure if you can see, but yeah, you can see the outside, and there's another small hole in the pocket. Nothing too major. Typical, very typical rust problems on these cars. Now we need to remove this trim, which I've never done before, but apparently just like pop-up clips that, yeah, we need to pry off with a screwdriver. Yeah, and there was a 110mm bolt that came off easily, even though it looked like it would be a fight, but it gave up easy. So we just need to make sure that the rest of the stream
goes equally hassle-free. Okay, yeah, once I've said that, there's a clip that I can't get to. Wait a second, I had a clip remover, like a proper one. So I found my little pry tool for the clips, and yeah, that's much better. Always use the right tools if you can, guys. If you can't, well, you know that 90% of the time you don't have the right tool. So improvise, like so. And I don't see any more clips on this side. Well, there's another 10mm that we need to undo. And that thing just, well, just, I'm not gonna say just ever again, because it's never. Whoa. It's out, and well, I don't think this is this is very not factory at all. I've got no idea what this stuff does. Yeah, is it a button? It looks like a button. I hope it's not some security stuff, but yeah, lots of it looks like some audio setup though. Like, it's all been spliced in so many ways. Oh my goodness, why do you do this? Okay, also, by the way, the thing that holds the gas door is missing. Well, it's not missing, I saw it somewhere. Yes, it's here, but it's not attached to anywhere. I think there's some kind of like a top piece that is missing that holds the thing in place. So yeah, currently my that's again some fine isolation. Yeah, I'm gonna deal with it later. I don't think it's worth putting back the trim, probably not for now, but at least we have the access to the top mount of the rear shock, and yeah, I'm just gonna do the same with the other side. Well, stuff at the back is a little bit more dire, I'd say. I don't have much space left on my memory stick, so I'm gonna be showing you stuff that is, well, kind of the most interesting one. So the rear suspension looks like that. There is one bolt at the bottom, and there is 3 nuts at the top, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully it will just come out without any struggle. Okay, so rear's off, and surprisingly they're in a slightly better condition than the front ones. The front ones look like they were set in a swamp, and to be honest, it goes about everything on the front, like all the arms, nuts, everything. Like the front of the car looks like it was parked somewhere at a, I don't know, dump place, and all the moisture just like did all this stuff. And as you can see, like this one is practically brand new, but I think you can agree that HSD look a little bit better, and they're pretty much the same height, though I think we need to make them 80mm as well. I don't know if the shocks are, they look like a little bit longer at the back. No idea if the height is the same or it has to be like lower, higher. I have no idea, but we will figure it out in a second. Well, the rear is on, and they went as easy as the front. Nothing to to complain about, to be honest. I mean, it would have been easier with extra hands, but it's not too bad even by itself, so I'd say it's totally doable. Solo, it's everything is more fun with friends. Okay, let's put it on the ground and see the actual clearance. Well, I kind of like the rear. I'm not too sure about the front. I think maybe another 5-ish mil would have been great, but yeah, let's take it for a test drive. Let's take it for a test. Let's take it for a test drive and see how it actually feels on the road.